all our listeners. Welcome to Trans Talk for Men, a show where trans-attracted men like myself, Eric, and my co-host.
Oh, that's
me?
me?
Yeah, that's you. Yeah, that's
you. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're rolling.
What's up, everybody? I'm Chris.
Yeah. Hey, we're trans-attracted men. We're going to be talking about trans-related issues as they relate to trans-attracted men, as I say, trans-talked men. Who knows what the fuck I'm talking about right now? I can't even send a link. But, Chris, you were telling me something about... well, actually, it's Pride Month, so that's why we were talking about it, and happy Pride Month to everybody out there. You were telling me about a new gay bar that opened up across the way?
Yeah. So, this new gay bar opened up across the street from my apartment. But it's not just any gay bar. It's a bear gay bar.
Okay, see, you were telling me that it was a gay bar, and you didn't tell me that it was a bear bar, and that I didn't know there was such a thing, honestly. When you were saying gay bar, I was just assuming the gay bar that I picture in my mind is the sort of like everybody gay bar. You know, they got gay men, they got gay women, they got the twinks, they got the bears, they got the really butch women. You know, they got all LGBTQ folks in there. But this one specifically is for gay men, or not gay men, but bears.
Gay men and bear gay men. Yes.
So
there's a lot of big hairy dudes coming in and out. I'm just like, you know what, to be honest, and this place gets way more business than what the bar was before that. Like, there's people there now. Like, there are people there all day, there are people there all night. Like, they're never slow.
They're never not.
And I don't mind it too much, to be honest. The last place, yeah, it was shut down a lot of days. When they were open, they were doing like some EDM stuff, and it was just super loud. And like the second floor of the place is all just rooftop, like just open air.
Okay.
So they used to blast music into the open air, and all the apartment buildings around it, we would just call the police because we were just, we were just so over it. But I mean, this place busy all the time, no noise issues. So, welcome gay men, and welcome bears to the neighborhood. Never thought I would be happy about bears coming to my neighborhood because I'm a Packers fan and I hate the Bears. But
I don't think that's the same type of bears.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely certain that the Bears team is made entirely of hairy big gay men. I could be wrong though. I'm not a sports guy, so I could be very well wrong. But yeah, I'm actually surprised that you say that it's bumping, because I would think that there wouldn't be enough business.
It's bumping, and it's brand, bro. They just opened last week. And it's bumping nonstop. Like, maybe they're getting their adverts out to the right people or whatever. But it's just, it's interesting. You usually don't see a brand new place, a brand new bar like that, and they're not in a bar district, so to speak. Like, I get it if you're surrounded by a bunch of other bars. Yeah, you'll get a lot of people into your place just to check it out. But this place is really on an island by itself.
So it's kind of in a residential area, is what you're saying. Okay.
Residential area. Right across the street from it is a huge Blue Cross and Blue Shield administration building. The next closest building to it is a fucking morning bakery.
Now, it makes me wonder how how the businesses next to it feel about that, because sometimes businesses get real uppity, and I don't mean just the owners about it, but I mean sometimes it's like an advertising thing. You can't be like, come down to the bakery right next to the super intense gay bar.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not saying like leather daddies walk in the place. Like, they're just bigger dudes that are dressed regular. Like,
okay, right.
It seems pretty tame from what I've seen.
That's cool. I can dig it. I mean,
so
I don't really care.
My window has a straight view into that rooftop area.
I mean, I don't really care if it's a bunch of leather daddies either. Not that.
Well, I just don't. I don't want to see foul. Like, you know what? Look, I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck if they're doing foul shit over there or not, as long as they just do it quietly.
I'll bet they're gonna do it.
Noise is my main concern.
I'm waiting for you to tell me the story coming up. Obviously, they just opened, so you got to give it some time. But I'm waiting to hear the story of the orgy that you saw on the roof in the open air. If nothing else, I mean, it would make for fun viewing, and I'm not even saying that you'll have to like masturbate or get hard or find it sexually attractive, but that would be entertaining.
Nah, bro, I just put that shit on World Star, man.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
World Star.
That would be. I didn't know World Star was still a thing, but.
Oh, it is. It's crazy.
Oh, jeezy peasy. That's like the beginning of the internet. I remember World Star, but but yeah, you know, I mean, that's something that shit I would watch. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on out there? And I'd open up the window and take a look, and I'd be like, well, look at them go.
No.
You know,
I'm not gonna lie, man. I
make a plate of spaghetti, watch it, dinner in a theater show.
Oh no. I mean, I'm glad I'm far enough away from it. I don't have to deal with the smell. But last year during Pride Month, I worked the nightclub that I worked security at had the official like Pride Month or Pride celebration, whatever. After party.
I remember you telling me that.
And I usually am, nestled comfortably inside my VIP. I don't roam around the club too much. I'm either in VIP or I'm on the stage, working the VIP table on the stage behind the DJ. And this one day, actually, you know what? This one day I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna roam. Hey, dude, take over my VIP tables, make some money in there, and I'm just gonna roam around tonight and just see what kind of strange shit is happening out here. And to be honest, I just wanted to be free to roam because there were like a ton of like super hot trans chicks there that night. Like
pretty good. That's a pretty good reason to roam.
Yeah, like I knew that I went to Rome on the chance that they would be there, and man, they showed up. There was some bad hoes out there, man.
Good deal.
But in the midst of all that shit, you still had all the super hairy, sweaty men. Typically in our club, we don't allow people to go shirtless. You have to keep your shirt on.
Okay.
We don't care what your abs look like. Shirt stays on.
Right.
Gay night or the end of the Pride night, no.
Well, yeah.
All the shirts off. So I'm going through the crowd and it's just
party.
It smells like it smells like the weight room, man. It's just sweat and just gross man smell. Like just going through the crowd, it was man smell and it was just gross and sweaty. And I'm just like, I'm gonna have to take my suit coat into the dry cleaners after this. Like, there was no saving that thing. I Febrezed it and I'm like, nope, can still smell it.
Hasn't smelled the same sense, huh?
I sent it to the dry cleaners. It's been good since I sent it in to the cleaners, but man, that was a mistake. I should have stayed in VIP.
You're still pulling chest hairs off of it.
The bear guys out there, no. So I mean, look, do what y'all do. I just don't want to be close enough to smell the man stank.
The man stank. Oh, that's a fair. I mean, that's a fair assessment. I don't even like it when I can smell my stink, let alone anybody else's. So.
And all I'm doing for Pride Month is working the Pride Month events at my club. This year, I'm not going. I don't get up early to go to parades and shit. Like I don't do that. I sleep in.
You know, I don't know that we have a local parade where I am. We might. I have no idea. I know we have a Pride event. It's held at a small venue in our downtown area. And our downtown area, mind you, where I live is like 4 buildings. So it's a pretty small area, but there's a band shell there, like an outdoor amphitheater, and they usually have events, singers and a couple drag shows and stuff like that. Then they serve up beer and, basic foods. A lot of advertisers come out, like a lot of local businesses will come out to support, which is pretty cool. But it's really not that big of an event. I would wager that there's maybe 200 people in attendance, but I live in a small nowhere town, so I'm not going to go to that. I've gone to it before, and it's pleasantly fine. It's interesting how many people when you go there. I go, oh shit. I'm like, I didn't realize that you would come to this thing or that you were a part of this. And obviously I go because my girlfriend is transgender, and I like trans women and I support trans women. I support all LGBTQ people for sure, but I have a specific like for the T portion of that. I guess that would be how I'm putting it. But
you and everybody else listening to this thing right
yeah,
now.
well, I would hope so. If not, you're probably in the wrong podcast. This is the time where I tell you that if you're really not into trans women, probably the wrong thing to listen to. Not that you're not welcome to listen to it, but that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about a lot of dicks and a lot of chicks that have those dicks. That's kind of how we roll around here.
This leads to a larger question, though.
Yeah.
For you personally, and then for a lot of the guys that are listening, do you consider yourself a part of the LGBTQ community?
Oh, see, that's
like when you go to these events, are you going like, yeah, okay, this is a part of my community, I'm a part of this, or no, I consider myself a straight male and I'm just an ally that's showing up?
Well, see, that's the kicker. So I consider that's a good question, and that's a question I've pondered and not really something that I've come to an answer for. The trans people that I talk to say that we are not part of the LGBTQ portion of that. We fall into the ally section. We fall into the A section of that. I do consider myself a straight male, as I like trans women. But I'm also exclusively attracted to trans women, sexually attracted to trans women. Cisgendered women, I see them, I go, oh, they're pretty, they're hot and whatever. But if I know that they're cisgendered, or if I know that they have a vagina, we're not playing that game. I'm not, sorry, can't have sex with you, not going to get a boner, that kind of shit. So part of me would like to consider myself part of that community, the LGBTQ community. Somewhere attached to the T is the trans attracted men. At the same time, though, I don't really think it's our place to say, we're not nearly as ostracized as, trans women are, or gay men are, that kind of thing, because we can really play it down and be like, oh, I thought she was a girl with a pussy, or I just like girls, and that kind of thing. And, I think that's kind of sleazy, because I wouldn't say that. And I think that there's a lot of pride to be had in saying, I like trans women and that's okay. I don't think that technically we're part of the LGBTQ, even though I wish that we could be a part of them, a strong ally support. But I don't mind helping from the sidelines either. I don't mind being an ally. I don't mind being there for them and saying, I'm here to support you in your event, if that makes any amount of sense.
Well, I think a lot of it has less to do with how the LGBT community views us, and more with how the public views us. So according to the public, we are gay men because the public, they see trans women as men. So, to be honest, I think, like, I would never say, oh, well, I'm not a part of this community because you guys don't think I can be, or you are the gatekeeper to me being a part of this. Like, no, there's shit that trans guys go through, or trans attracted males go through, but it's more like, hey, we still got you're in a very lucky situation, but like I've talked about before on this podcast, a lot of men who are attracted to trans women still have those issues with family that,
oh, sure,
bisexual people have, or trans people, they probably easily have it the toughest out of the whole fucking alphabet acronym that we spit out, easily. But this isn't a fucking dick measuring contest in terms of who has it worse. It's, do you have it bad at all? Are you struggling with this at all, period, because of how society views you? Okay, well, come on in. We'll support you.
Yeah.
I think
definitely,
being exclusionary about that shit is really not cool.
Well, I agree. I agree with you 100% on that. And that trans attracted men can go through a lot of shit, especially coming out to their family, friends, finding a community of guys to speak to. That's partially the reason why you and I created this podcast, was because, you and I met each other, Chris, and then we realized that there's like nobody else and nobody talking about it. And we're like, somebody needs to step up and talk about these things and be honest that I'm not saying that we are We definitely don't have the shit end of the stick. Like
No.
you're absolutely right, but we are in the same boat. We are in this together,
But
sort
dude,
of
I'm
deal.
looking at alienating my whole family.
Yeah, yeah, and
If I was like, hey, this is my girlfriend, she's transgender, and this, and that, bro, both
yep,
sides of my family, like
yep,
nobody showing up to my wedding. Like
yeah. Well,
when I mean alienating, like childhood friends, like there's some shit at stake for guys who date slash marry transgender women who come from a lot of, the American experience,
yeah. Well,
family with
that's
Christianity and all that bullshit.
well. I was gonna say you've got it extra tough because you have a traditional Christian black family. Um,
Yeah, the black part of that does matter.
yeah, and I was
'Cause,
gonna say we've talked
we
about
tend
how
to be a
that
lot
makes it.
more conservative.
Yeah, and that's actually going to be a topic for another time that we want to get
Hmm.
into, because it's such a deep, interesting topic that I didn't even know anything about. But
Hmm.
yeah, I agree. I think we're all in the same boat, and our ship is attached to the trans women in that we are attracted to trans women in that we have no choice that we are attracted to trans women. I didn't wake up one day and go, you know what, I think this is going to be the right path to choose. It just happened. And it just happened. So yes, I think it would be good to be part of that community. I honestly, I would rather us just be tied in with the T portion of it for
Hmm.
transgender slash trans attracted.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, curious as to know. Curious as la 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 la. If I could word today, that'd be awesome. If I could word any day, I get on here and I always trip over my own tongue.
It's all right, man. Do your thing.
Yeah, well,
We are
my
doing
my
this live, everybody.
yeah,
We're
we are.
live.
This is always live, but yeah, my brain is always moving 10 minutes faster than my fucking face does. Um, yeah, well, long story short is I agree. I think that we should be. I would like to be part of that. I think that we should be part of that. Um, but even if we're not, it's important for us to go out and support these things when we can. Get out there, show our support, do our thing. I'm actually going to be out of town during my town's Pride event, so I'm not going to be
Hmm.
around to go to it. But if I was in town, I would absolutely go to it. It's a fun event, even if it's small. It's show support in the local small communities as well as the big communities.
Now, this so the makeup artist, this guy named Jeray's makeup artist. He's gay. He works at my job, and we were talking about like Pride Fest, like which ones were like the really big ones to hit.
Yeah,
And I mean, he was seriously saying like Denver. He like seriously he rated Denver as like the fourth best one in the country.
really.
He travels during June. He travels to all the big ones around the country. Like he does not stay in Denver and only experiences Denver. He's in L.A., goes to New York, goes to San Fran, and what was it? I believe it's New York. ABC is broadcasting the New York Pride Parade.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
cool. When is
So that's the
the?
first time like a major network is like,
I,
hey, we're gonna
I
show
hope
this.
I hope their mosaic sensors are ready.
Well,
Um,
he was telling me New York is different. Like he said there's no way they could do the one in LA because LA is way more adult themed and it just wouldn't be safe for the kids. But he was saying from what he was telling me, the New York one is pretty good. It
well, that's
should be
pretty
pretty
cool.
safe for that in terms of the
Well,
official floats and everything.
well, I'm glad that ABC is broadcasting that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, shout out to Disney for that shit, man.
Yep, good on them. Well, Disney's kind of stepping up with the
Yeah.
LGBT themed stuff, so they're
Like even though they're a
they're getting
large
on board.
corporation, they like really are on top of their social justice issues.
Yeah, that's true. They're getting on board, so they're heading in the right direction. I don't know everything about Disney. I don't know everything about their history. I know they have some blemishes of racism and stuff like that in there, but
Or
it's
that
it's all
what's his name? Fucking who's the guy that started Disney?
would it be Walt Disney?
There you go. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm like,
He's
is
fucking
that a trick question?
anti-Semitic and shit. He hated Jews for
Well,
some reason.
that's what people say, but I've heard that there's really no proof of that. Um,
I don't know.
I think that might just be a rumor. Anyway, the point is, without speculating on Disney, because that's not actually what we're here for, it's good to see a company head in the right direction regardless of where they started.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if Hobby Lobby tomorrow said, you know, we're going to give women contraceptives and we're all about accepting LGBTQ peoples, I would say, good on you, Hobby Lobby. Way to finally move into fucking, you know, the 21st century. So I'm not gonna begrudge what they are if they're moving in the right in the right direction. So
you just made me think of rainbow colored Chick-fil-A patties.
Oh man, that would be disgusting. Did I tell you about the Chick-fil-A that opened up here? So
No.
we had a Chick-fil-A. We have our first Chick-fil-A open up maybe like a year and a half ago.
Okay. Did people camp out or whatever?
Oh yeah. Oh, it was fucking nuts. For like 6 months, there was a line around the fucking block for this Chick-fil-A. It was blocking the main road, and I'm like, get the fuck out of the way. Go get your chicken at the Popeyes. Go get your chicken at the Lee's. Go get your chicken at KFC. Fuck off. Like. I'm like, it's just Chick-fil-A. And I don't even think Chick-fil-A is that good.
What?
No, I don't. No, I don't even really like it. And that's before they came out against LGBTQ peoples. I didn't think they were ever that good. I'm like, no, I don't really like Chick-fil-A. But yeah.
Man. Everybody listening, don't hold this against him. He's just mad right now.
He don't
really mean it. He just mad. So don't judge him.
I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. Take me back. Nah, fuck that. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, I know this is a total aside and has nothing to do with trans people or the Pride Month, but
it's
I'm
entertaining.
Just like, yeah, sure, yeah. But I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, get the fuck out of my way. I got deliveries to make. That's what I do for a living. Is I drive a truck and I make deliveries. And when your goddamn Chick-fil-A is blocking the road, you done pissed me off.
Shit.
Yeah.
Dude, a Chick-fil-A is based in Atlanta. And when I was living in Atlanta, every day between 12 and like 1:30, during the lunch hours, they had Atlanta police out there directing traffic for the lunch rush for Chick-fil-A. So Atlanta's had Chick-fil-A forever, and they still are that popular.
And they still have police out there.
And when they open up brand new Chick-fil-A's, even in the Atlanta area, shit's crazy. Lines long as fuck.
Around the block, even though Chick-fil-A's been there since the get-go.
Even though you could drive like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 miles away, and you can find another Chick-fil-A.
People are dumb, man. But
and the shit's good. I'm saying all this to explain how good Chick-fil-A is, and that Chick-fil-A craving you get on Sundays when they're not open. You're like, damn, I want some Chick-fil-A. Fuck, they're not open.
They're not open.
What am I gonna do, Lord Jesus? Baby Jesus. What
baby Jesus. Do? It's got to be baby Jesus. It can't be never adult Jesus. Always baby Jesus. But anyway, I wanted to do one more quick thing about Chick-fil-A, and then I'm gonna move this shit on off of it.
This is the Chick-fil-A podcast.
This is right. Hey guys, welcome to the Chick-fil-A podcast. You know, I'm Eric. That's my co-host Chris. We're gonna talk about chicken the entire time.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, growing up, when I first saw my first Chick-fil-A, which was in Ohio, I believe, when I was going to Cedar Point, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, cool
that was my first Chick-fil-A that I saw, and I didn't realize it was Chick-fil-A. I thought it was Chick-fil-A. So I literally called it Chick-fil-A for years until someone's like, "What the fuck is a Chick-fil-A?" And I said, and they're like, doing Chick-fil-A? And they're like, is that what it's called? I'm like, for real? But mind you guys, I live in kind of a podunky backwater woods area. Like, as I'm doing this podcast, this is how woods I live in. As I'm doing this podcast, I can actually see a deer in my backyard that came out of the woods just now.
Oh, damn.
So, yeah, I live in the woods. So out here in the woods, we've got Chick-fil-A's, not Chick-fil-A's. Anyway, moving the fuck on. I'm calling it on chicken. We're moving on. Gotta keep going.
Let's do it.
Trust me, I could probably talk about chicken for longer than I care to admit. Chris, we got our first official email question.
Oh,
and
shit. Let's go.
I would like to read this, and then I would like to answer it.
Okay.
So this comes from a listener by the name of Laurel. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's Larrell. So Laurel is what I assume. He said, I enjoy your podcast, and my question is, how do you feel about the difference between bisexuality and pansexuality? Can a man be attracted to a trans woman and still consider himself straight, or is he at least bisexual? This is something I would love to hear you guys discuss. Keep up the good work with the podcast, and I look forward to listening to more episodes. So, first of all, Laurel, thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the question. Glad that you're out there. Glad that you're, putting in input and stuff like that. So the question is, can you date a trans woman and consider yourself straight, or are you at least bisexual? And what is the difference between bisexuality and pansexuality, which is kind of an important topic to talk about, seeing as how it's Pride Month, and that's kind of the theme of things. So my first hot take on this is, I think you can date trans women and be straight. And the reason I think you can date trans women and be straight is because if you identify as a male and you're dating a trans woman, they identify as female, that to me is a heterosexual relationship. Man, woman, no problem there. It doesn't, to me, it what you have in your pants does not dictate who you are. And as such, I think you can be absolutely straight and date a trans woman. Although, like you said, Chris, a lot of times people who aren't attracted to trans women view it differently. Society at large might say that you're bisexual. They might even say that you're gay. It's sort of this whole. See, I hear bisexual. I hear gay a lot, but I think that's more derogatory used. I think that's people are like, oh, you're just a gay. You're just a fag, a queer. Stuff like that. And it's just people who are bent out of shape. But I think people who genuinely aren't bent out of shape seem to be confused by that, and they say bisexual because they say, well, it's a female body, it's a feminine form, it's a person who identifies as female, but they have a penis, and penis is masculine. In our culture, a penis is masculine. In a lot of cultures, penis is masculine. Therefore, you have some sort of amalgam between the two. I don't think that necessarily makes you bisexual. I think you can be bisexual and like trans women. I think there's no issue whatsoever in being bisexual and liking trans women, because they're women. But bisexuality to me also means that you're attracted to men. And when I say men, I don't mean trans women who are just starting out. I consider them trans women all the same. I mean the Bear Club across the street from Chris. I mean, you're attracted to those guys as well. So if you're sexually attracted to men who identify as men, who act like men in whatever capacity that may be, and you're also attracted to women, and that happens to include trans women, I would say that you're bisexual. As far as pansexuality goes, pansexuality, from my understanding, is you are attracted to people in general, man, women, and everything in between. You're attracted to non-binary people. You're attracted to genderqueer people. That's what pansexuality means to me, from what I understand. So you mean
all they need are two legs and a heartbeat?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Actually, you know what? They could even have one leg or no legs. Heartbeat is probably key to
heartbeat.
That.
Fair enough.
Yep, probably
so a
key
warm
to
body.
That.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Probably want some sort of sexual organs. I mean, that could very well be. I'm sure they're asexual pansexuals. I think.
Yeah,
I don't really know.
I don't know. Motherfuckers make up new shit every day.
Well, I don't know that it's making it up so much as it is just kind of expanding on things. But so yeah,
making shit up, man. Pansexual wasn't a thing even 10 years ago. I don't even know. There's so many unclear definitions on what people are and whatever else. Explain however you want, but I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of new shit popping up all the time, and it's just like I really can't tell you what, like, 100% what the definition of pansexual is. If
I couldn't tell you.
Pansexual is because it's so convoluted and new.
Yeah, well, that's true, and I think you're right about the definitions being a problem. We don't really have the language to talk about it.
That's just like the, autism. Well, yeah, autism was around, but they just called it something different 20 years ago. It's just new labels all the time. That's all I'm saying. Like it's just, yeah. But to
Yeah.
answer the man's question,
Mm-hmm.
if you like women, period, you're straight. So if you're
Or at least
attracted to
bisexual.
feminine qualities, if you're a hetero male, a masculine male, and
Mm-hmm.
you're attracted to femininity, then you are straight.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to consider yourself a bi or pansexual or whatever. You're just a regular dude. You're just straight. That's what it is. I think most guys that are attracted to trans women consider themselves straight, unless they're some of the select few that are just attracted to men as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
So
that's
I
pretty
mean,
common, and
yeah, it happens. Definitely happens. But I mean, you like we were talking about before, you will be viewed as gay
yeah,
by
which
the
is
rest of the LGBT community. You're not
which
going to
is
be
funny because you're not
uh,
gay at all.
you're not going to be bi or anything. They were, all the gay guys are gonna be like, oh yeah, he just likes gay guys. Like they may even try to turn you. I don't know.
No, see, I don't think that's true. I think, see, people say you're gay, like I
Hmm.
said, for derogatory, for hurtful reasons, but I don't think that's true because gay men don't fuck trans women.
No, they
Uh,
don't.
they don't date them. They don't fuck them. They're not interested in them. Gay men are into men, through and through. So it's funny that people are like, "Oh, you're gay," and I'm like, "How many gay men do you know that are with trans women? Zero, zilch, nobody. No, there. I've never met a gay guy. I've never met a guy that goes, "Oh yeah, I'm gay, but I date T girls."
Hmm.
Okay, well, wouldn't that make you significantly less gay? Um,
I mean,
wouldn't that
at
make
that point,
you
that would like make them a little bit pansexual or
or
sort of bi or
bisexual or
something if
whatever
they
the
were gay
fuck?
and dated
Yeah,
trans women.
yeah.
But I mean, a lot of them view trans women as they don't view them as women. It's really funny. I think it's pretty. Yeah, I'll go this route. I think it's pretty hypocritical.
Mhm.
A lot of the members of the community that are all about accepting all, no matter what you are, and all this other stuff, but a lot of them find it very hard to accept transgendered women,
Well, as with any community, unfortunately, there
and it's
is, of
just
course,
like
infighting.
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, I agree that it doesn't make any sense. But
And
another
thanks for
point.
listening, dude.
Yeah, well, I wanna add one more thing to Laurel's question, which is, I like Chris was saying, if you identify as a man and you like women and you like femininity, you're straight, and that even goes for people like me. And I don't like pussy. I've talked about it before. I don't do pussy. I don't fuck pussy. I don't masturbate to pussy. I have no interest in it, and I still consider myself a straight man who doesn't want anything to do with a vagina, and I still consider myself straight. So the answer is, I think if you're asking Laurel, if you're asking this in the sense of what am I or how should I classify myself, I say fuck it, man. Only you can decide what your sexuality. Only you can decide what label you want to give your sexuality. I don't want to say that you choose your sexuality. You don't, but only you get to be the one that gives it the label that you want to give it. So call yourself whatever the fuck you want, is what I'm saying. Just be you, bro. Just be real, be you. Enjoy enjoy the beautiful trans women out there. I
Hmm.
mean, isn't that really the moral of the story, Chris? Enjoy the beautiful trans women out there.
Yeah, live life. Be confident in yourself, man. You don't have to worry about your identity, so to
Yeah.
speak. I mean, your identity is whatever you make it, to be
Yeah,
honest.
the problem is we tie sexuality to identity so much in this culture. It's so
Yeah,
tethered, and it's too bad that that is what tethers us instead of other things that make us us. You know what I mean? I mean that can be your sexuality can be a huge identifying factor for people. I mean,
hmm,
people lose jobs for that shit. I mean, we have a whole month dedicated to being proud of your sexuality, and I think that comes from a we need that because it's attached to identity, and we judge people on it. And so the whole reason is be proud, be real, be not judged by identity. I don't know. I'm digressing. Um
it's all good. Thanks for listening, Laurel. And
yeah.
dude, you're straight. That's it. Just you're a regular guy. There's nothing crazy or different or weird or mutant about you for liking trans women. You're just a dude that likes women, and the women that you like just happen to have penises. Like, it's that easy.
Yep, that is absolutely the truth.
So do you be a man, keep your game up, and fuck hoes.
Speaking of being a man, and keeping your game up, Chris, can toxic masculinity make you appealing or unappealing to trans women? Do you think that a toxic masculinity would turn some girls on? Would it turn them off? And what the fuck is toxic masculinity? Wow, I totally didn't sound like I read that off of a script or anything at all, guys. It was definitely not a bullet point for today.
Dude, like when I think of toxic masculinity, or at least in the way that, women have defined it for us, because this is mostly a female term that they invented and whatever the fuck else, like
feminist term, I believe.
Yeah, it's some bullshit. So, but I mean, as far as what I understand, for a lot of cisgendered women to view toxic masculinity is, the old school man, like, men never cry. We're always tough. We're always rough. And, like being a man means being physically strong, being silent, not particularly silent, but, not showing your emotions. And, just a lot of like the guy culture, like, locker room talk and all that kind of stuff. Toxic masculinity. And it's just like, I envision all the hilarious 80s action stars,
Oh, yeah.
Like the Arnold Schwarzenegger and especially the Rambo, like that is like it's toxic to them. And it's just like, there's nothing about being a man that's toxic. I don't find it to be. So I think a lot of trans women out there, they want a man's man. They want a manly man. They don't want no punk. Like, they want a man that can protect them, just like cisgender women, whether they want to admit it or not. They want a man that can hold it down, that can protect them.
Well, I believe
if shit goes sideways, they're looking to their man like, okay, be my protector right now.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to do.
I believe the view of women, and I may get this quote wrong, but I believe the view of women is, I don't want no scrub.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, guys, men did not write that.
Yeah. So you were talking about how they want the stereotypical masculine, and you were saying old school masculinity. Now I
think it attracts a lot of them. Now, a lot of the porn stars that we know may not fly that way, just because, granted, they just have a shit ton of options, to be honest. Yeah. And a lot of them are like LA, but a lot of these, like, I don't know. When I think of trans women, I love the Latinas, love them to death, and a lot of the Asian chicks, whatever, a lot of them come from traditional backgrounds and families, and it's just like, yeah, the man is the man, and I'm looking for a man's man. I'm not looking for nobody that's soft out here, or somebody that's got a bunch of drama and super emotional and all this other junk. Like, they just want a regular dude. I want my guy to watch football and be into sports, like that kind of shit, So I think that is appealing to a lot of women. And there's definite male qualities, like, you grow up, hey, you should know how to change a flat tire, or you should know how to change the oil or do some basic car work. That's some manly stuff, working on machines. That turns some women on.
Yeah, for sure. And I
think it works the same for trans women. Like, I don't think there's too much difference.
Oh, I don't see why there would be.
Trans women and regular women or cisgender women are attracted to.
Yeah, I don't see why. Yeah, I don't see why there would be any difference there. And I'm gonna take a slightly different take, which is, I think toxic masculinity. I think you're right in that it refers to being all man all the time, super masculine, sort of really rugged, kind of beefcakey, even if that means like you're overweight, you're a man, you drink beer, you sports, you work on cars and shit. And I think toxic masculinity can actually even affect men in a negative light. So I'm going to actually move my portion of it slightly away from our trans women attracted to it, and I'm going to ask the question for myself to answer: is toxic masculinity damaging to men? And I think that it can be in a lot of ways. And I think the problem is that we look at masculinity in one spectrum with only one dynamic. It's very one dimensional. It's you have to be this way. But the thing is that like I consider myself fairly masculine. I've got pretty good muscles. I can lift some stuff. I know how to work on a car, that kind of thing, at least to some extent. But at the same time, I don't drink beer. I don't watch sports. You know, I prefer a hard cider to a beer because it's a little more sour, a little sweeter. I like that. But I don't watch sports. I did do sports in school, but I did different sports. I played lacrosse. I didn't play football or anything like that. But also at the same time, you know, I consider myself masculine. But I love me some video games. I play a ton of games all the time. My cat is on my desk, which is causing all sorts of trouble. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. You know, I play games all the time. I'm into games. I like anime. I like, you know, movies. And, you know, I'm going to say that I'm a pretty emotional person. And I don't mean that in the sense that, like, I cry all the time because I rarely cry. But, you know, I do get frustrated and show emotions besides just being stoic and masculine. And I think that that's a problem for a lot of men because I think what it does is it creates a system where you're expected to be one type of masculine as opposed to whatever masculine you are. You know, you truly are. And then to tie that back in, I think you're right. I think a lot of women do have an attraction to this traditional masculinity, this Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone masculinity, where it's, you know, tough guys and fights and muscles and I can do this and don't worry, I'm stoic and get this done and I'm going to drink a beer at the end of the day. By golly, fuck my woman and watch football because I'm a man.
Yep. They like that shit.
Yeah, and
but not just that type of guy. They like the bro.
The bro?
The bro.
The bro is the worst.
That douchey guy that is probably the new age toxic masculinity wrapped up in a ball.
I hate
those guys. Never go wanting for women. They always have women.
Yeah, the problem is that they want each other. they're just too bro to admit it. They're just like, bro, you're looking so swole, bro. Let's go find ourselves a girl.
Man,
but really,
I can't
they're like,
speak to that. I'm just saying, like the kinds of dudes that fall under this toxic masculinity, the guys that be like, oh, no homo, dude, or whatever else. Like they want to seem super straight, and all this shit. Like they never go wanting for women. They always got chicks. Like I was in a frat, man. I didn't seen it. I saved the shit. Like none of these guys, the most douchiest bros of the bros, always got chicks.
Well, there's something about the douchebag thing, and
women like it. I don't know why. They like assholes.
Do they though? Do they, or are they expected to like
trans women, they'll fuck with them too. You know that guy that's popping bottles at the club. Yeah. You know he's head douche in charge and
God, I hate those
loving
guys.
it. Bro. Loving. She's gonna bend right over for him.
Oh, that's
what it is.
That makes me sad to hear. I can see. When you say that in my head, I'm viewing the bro in the club with his fucking pink polo shirt, unbuttoned as far as it can be unbuttoned, his sunglasses on, even though he's in a club, his hat backwards, and popping
all
champagne.
The chicks want him.
Yeah, and then I'm envisioning this beautiful trans woman. She walks up to him. She's got tan skin. You know, she's got a big, great ass. She's got huge tits. She's like, oh my gosh. And she turns over, bends over. Her skirt pops up. You see that beautiful bulge just nestled in her thong. And he's like, bro. He's like, I'm going to hit that. Except for he wouldn't because he's no homo, bro.
He's going to hit that on the slide. And she's going to let him.
And the answer is...
And then he's going to turn around and be hurt.
And
even though she knew what it was.
And what I got to say is, fuck you, man. Fuck you, Chad.
Chad.
Yeah. You know his name is Chad or Dylan or something like that. Fuck you.
That bro, he's not as physical, but he's still like the Don Juan. Like, they like him. But the other kind of bro that, like the old school ones, the guys that can fight and shit. Guy, you know, he fucking hulks up on a dude, pushes him away or, you know, like shows his physical dominance. Got him.
Yeah.
He's going to get, chicks like that shit. They say they don't, but somebody's getting with him. Like, all the bad stuff that guys do, I tell people, we wouldn't do it if it didn't work.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like, is that a social expectation that girls get with that? Is there an actual attraction, but is it a temporary attraction? Or is that just something that most girls are just naturally attracted to? And that's the question of like, you and excuse me while I go Nature Channel, while I go Discovery Channel, out here in the wilderness, you can see different beds. Anyway, you see it in nature all the time, the machismo of the male. You know, they peacock around, and we use that term too. You know, they say they're peacocking and they're strutting around, they're strutting their stuff, and look how whatever I am. And that's, to me, that's more of a, I can get laid with that, but I can't do dick all else with that. And so I think I think you're right in that that's a good way to get a girl for a night, but I'm not certain that's a good way to keep a girl for a long time, is to be the machismo douche. Not to mention the expectation of the bro is to just keep fucking women all the time. So like you're not gonna keep a girl that way anyway. So I think the bro comes with some problems of his own. No, not I'm sitting here as a nerd, going like, I think that the bro is he's a troubled person, and I feel bad for the bro. No, I don't feel fucking bad for the bro. I feel irritated by the bro. Fuck you, man. I want to see the bulges, not you.
Fuck you, Chad.
Yeah, fuck you, Chad. Dylan, your bro boyfriend who totally wants that dick. Give him the dick, Chad. And get the fuck out of here. But
like
yeah, so it's
that Pride night I told you about, where I saw these like bad chicks coming in and
yeah,
you know, implants looking good, all that shit. Like,
yeah,
oh yeah, they were with the dudes with the fucking pop, well, not pop collars, but you know, 3 buttons down, open up. You know, like they were looking like fucking what's the meathead from, one of the meatheads from Jersey Shore and shit. Like,
I'm sure his name is Chad.
Yeah, Chad. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I was like, okay, well, I mean, look, that's what she into. It is what it is. I mean, it seemed like he treated her okay at first, then he ended up treating her like shit later on in the night. But
yeah, see, that's the thing. Is that's what I'm saying.
She was cool with it. She stayed.
It's such a temporary thing. It's such a, once you flex your muscles and once you bro, it's done. You got nothing else in the hanger. But the problem is that it holds for a little while.
Yeah,
that attraction holds for just long enough to be banging some ass. And I mean, come on, guys. I know you guys out there. That's all we want to do. We just want to bang some ass. Just want to bury our face in that beautiful round backside. That's what I want to do. God damn it, I'm gonna have to masturbate. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it on the pod. I'm kidding. I'm not.
In the doghouse.
Yeah, that's right. I've gone there. Oh shit. But that's what I get for waking up from a nap. You know, you wake up and your buddy's like, "Hello," and it's like, "Oh god damn it." But yeah.
Man.
So we know that.
Answer the question. I think everything is the exact same with cisgender women as transgender women, and toxic masculinity wins because it's still here, even though we've been talking about it for a few years now.
Yeah. Well, it wins. It wins temporarily. It wins in the short term for sure. You know, we got to put in.
Nice guys always finish last.
Yeah, and you got to put in a lot
never
more.
Never changed.
That's what I was just gonna say. Is you got to put in a lot more work to be sincere than you do to have to be a douche.
Yep.
So that is absolutely true. But another part of this is, do you think that it turns some girls off? And what do you think about it would turn some girls off? And fuck the cisgendered girls. Sorry, ladies, if you're listening. Sorry, not interested. We're talking about the best girls. We're talking about trans girls. Do you think that any of this would turn some trans girls off?
I can't see it turn. Well, yeah, obviously some. There's always some that are going to be like that. But to be honest, the girls that would be not very attracted to that brand of masculinity, I would probably wouldn't even want to talk to them anyways.
You think so?
They'd probably end up just being some fucking weirdo that I wouldn't vibe with in the first place, dude. Just to be honest.
So where my brain went when I asked the question, my first thought was, Are there trans girls out there that aren't attracted to this toxic masculinity, this over masculinity, this broness, because it's too much masculinity? And what I mean by that is, does it ever remind trans girls of where they came from, of themselves, of the masculinity that they have had to shed, or that they are desperately trying to shed? Because trans girls are in the unique situation of being trans, of being born one gender and moving to another gender. But while they were male, I'm certain that they had masculine expectations thrust upon them, and that they some of them probably could meet those masculine expectations, others could not. Would they find that masculinity in the future to be sort of repugnant, to be sort of echoing their past, that they've long since gotten over, or long since surpassed in a lot of ways? And that's where my mind went first, was, can masculinity be too masculine and then turn some people off? Is there that sweet spot of masculinity, or is it just like, if it's masculine in somebody else, it's all good as long as it's not masculine to me?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I think that not future generations, I'd say even like 10 years from now, a lot of these trans girls won't have that experience, because they're starting younger and younger.
That's true. You're right.
They won't know that side of what it's like to be a man.
Yeah, and I think they'll
be just as clueless as women.
Yeah, that's true. Well, then it also begs the question of, how is masculinity going to change in the future too? You brought up how future trans women might not even have that association, because it never occurred to them, which is how is masculinity going to change in the future? So masculinity back in the 1920s was a relatively thin, tall guy with a suit who smoked and stuff like that, and he looked real suave. See, but then it changed to more muscly. So think the 80s Arnold, where Arnold wasn't a bro in any of those movies. He was just a muscled hard ass. And now it's these bros. And the bros have muscles, but the bros are really, in a lot of ways, they're sort of effeminate, in that, like, the bright colors and the showing off and the dressing and the doing of the hair and stuff like that. I consider that more in line with femininity, because I don't fucking dress myself like that, and I don't do my hair.
Ain't nothing wrong with having some swag.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having swag or looking good. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that it's changed. You know what I mean? It's changed from well put together to super muscular to muscular and put together, but in a smaller capacity for each. So not quite the suit and not quite the muscle man. It's somewhere in between. So how is it going to change in the future? And that sort of deal. And it actually also begs the question of, that masculinity is culturally defined, and that the masculinity in America is different than the masculinity overseas. So I specifically know about Japan, and we would consider masculine guys over there to be fairly effeminate. They're just really skinny and sort of kind of like pretty boys and stuff like that. Well, okay, so like my girlfriend likes to listen to BTS, the Korean pop band. Oh my god,
are you fucking kidding me?
Nah, she went to a concert.
Oh.
Anyway,
I thought she was cool, man.
When she listens to this, she's gonna come after you with a knife. I just want you to know.
She's like, I'm banned. I won't get any more hookups. I'm done.
Nothing. You've been ostracized pretty much. I don't even know if I could still do the podcast with you. We're gonna have to change it. We're just gonna have to change it to just talking about chicken. Anyway, the BTS guys over in Korea are considered super hella hot, masculine, and handsome, while I look at them and I go, they're half a step away from being trans themselves. So it's a societal thing too, and it's a question of how is it changing? Is it going to change? What direction is the wind blowing? That kind of shit. I
Man,
think that
America's slow
has.
to change, man.
Oh,
If you've seen that,
you think?
you seen that 2016 voting map, you got a few blue dots,
I
and
don't
the
know what
whole
you're.
country was
I don't.
red.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I think we are so up to snuff. We are so with it. Slow to change, please. Um, completely ridiculous. But yeah. So I think the long and the short of it is the traditional toxic masculinity can make you attractive to trans women. It can
Mm-hmm.
make you attractive to women in general. I think toxic masculinity works for the short term. So if you're looking to hook up with a bunch of different people all the time, a lot of toxic masculinity can do you a world of good in the hookup life, in the hookup community. However, having said that, I would not recommend it. I wouldn't
Mm.
recommend it because I don't think it works for the long run, and I don't think it works healthy for the long run. And you know me, Chris. I want to promote finding a partner who's transgender. I want to promote dating and being real and being who you are. And I'm not saying that you're wrong to want to have sex or
Oh yeah,
you're
I'm
wrong to
promoting
want
getting
to.
laid, fellas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Get it.
I'm not saying any of that. I'm not trying to shame anybody for wanting to have sex. I mean, I totally get that, or even for the hookup culture. But I think for the long run,
Mm-hmm.
I think that masculinity is going to serve you poorly. I think it's
Mm.
better. I think it's more in your interest to be genuine and authentic for who you are. I mean, I've had some success that way. Chris, you've had some success being authentic in who you are, and
Mm-hmm.
even though yours ended, um, you still what I'm saying is you still got some girls even
Yeah.
without being a bro.
Oh, for sure.
And so it
For
can
sure.
work. And it's just it might take a little
Um,
extra work, but I recommend it.
Actually, I think I just saw a chink in the armor when it comes to toxic masculinity.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
That's not an Asian joke, by the
typically
way.
the bro, well, I mean, a lot of these guys are in the closet, so
Bro.
they have to uphold their image that they project to their friends as this alpha male, totally solid bro, solid guy, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And getting with trans chicks is a threat to that image.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I think it would be harmful just a little. Well, I think it won't help in the way that they'll have to be in the closet, which means the relationship won't last that long because eventually the trans girl's like, okay, I deserve better. I'm out of here.
Oh
Like
yeah, for sure.
either you introduce me to your friends or not.
Yeah, and they're
And to
only
be
doing it
honest, I'm
on
in
the
a
sly.
situation where I don't have a lot of friends in Denver because I'm not from here.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't really have to introduce her to friends really because I
Mm-hmm.
really don't have too many, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, and you mentioned it too, is that they might fuck the trans chicks, but they'll do it on the sly.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
it'll be on the down low. It'll be that sort of shame portion of it. And I'll tell
like
you
if
this
they could
much:
slip out the back door with nobody noticing, they would.
I thought you were slipping in the back door. Um, but
Slip out the back door to slip into the back door.
that's
There
right.
you go.
But yeah, see, the thing is that all the trans chicks I've met, that shit won't fly.
Mm-hmm.
The whole like we're just gonna do on the down low. You know, we're
Mm-hmm.
not gonna ever be out in public and whatever. That shit doesn't work for long. So like I said
Yes,
before,
not for long, but it
it'll
will work.
right. It'll get you laid a couple times, but then
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to move on. And
Yep.
um, the thing is that I think even after a while, if you don't, you know, if you're just going home with all these chicks, never to be seen again and whatever and that kind of thing, I think your
Mm-hmm.
bros are gonna catch on and they're gonna be like, bro, what's up with these chicks, bro? Um,
Oh yeah.
so
Oh yeah. I
you're gonna get
mean,
caught anyway.
one of them posting a picture of y'all on social media or Instagram and tagging you or some shit like that. Like it really, it really like even just in general, it doesn't take long for, especially when you're fucking around with social media, it doesn't take long for people that you love or people that you know to catch on that you're attracted to trans chicks.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
my cousin, I liked something off of Chanel Santini and like or no, I liked a picture from this one chick And then it turned out to be my cousin's ex, who he used to date and fuck.
Mm-hmm.
She was a totally smoking hot trans chick too.
Mm-hmm.
But then he was like, "Oh shit, dude, you like trans chicks too? That's crazy." Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he started talking to me a little bit about it. But at that time, I wasn't really prepared to talk with him about it because he's like the little cousin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have conversations like that with him just yet.
I would totally do that
But
if I
I'm
knew
just
my
saying,
cousins like that.
a guy I played football with in high school, he was liking a picture from Chanel Santini, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I didn't know you. I guess he's into that too.
Yeah,
Cool.
well, when we've talked about this before, and that's another reason for the pod, which is there's a lot of us out there. There's a lot more of us guys out there than we let on, and that's one thing that I always encourage with the pod is be open, guys, be real.
Hmm.
Be true about liking trans women. The more we are open and real about liking trans women, I think the better it will be for everybody involved, including the trans women. So,
For sure. I will say I still do find Dave Chappelle jokes funny. So I
yeah,
do find Dave Chappelle funny. I won't tell any trans chick I'm dating. I won't tell her that up front.
mm-hmm,
She's like, "Who's your favorite comedian?" I'll say Richard Pryor or some shit like that.
mm-hmm.
But my fandom of Dave Chappelle will come out eventually.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I
that skit
mean,
he did about dude's night out.
yeah. I
And then
remember it.
they had the cross dressers and he's like, "Fuck this, a mouth to mouth." And then he got back in. He was just
Do you think that Chappelle on the sly likes trans chicks? He talks about them an awful lot.
um nah.
No.
Well, I wouldn't think so, but he's old. Like he's old, man.
Mm,
Like that's the only reason why I say that is because of his age and the generation and time he came up in. Like
mm,
that shit wasn't around.
yeah.
Like that shit was just starting to come around when I was like in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like yes, transgender people have been around for a long time, but I'm saying they just started hitting TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But in the form of like gimmicky talk shows, like, is it a man or is it a woman? I don't
Do-do-do.
know. Oh man, that's a man.
Here
That's a
with your
man.
host.
No, that gotta be a woman.
Here with your
Oh
host,
man.
Chad.
Yeah, Chad. Oh, I got it wrong.
Bruh.
Oh, no, it
Bruh.
was brothers. Oh, like that kind of shit. Like,
Oh, bitch, you gay.
what's funny? Because a lot of the trans porn stars that I've watched over the years, like their first television appearance was on like Maury or Jenny Jones or like a lot of these gimmicky shows that at the time it was okay for them to just kind of
Jerry Springer.
make fun. Oh yeah, Jerry Springer to make fun of transgender people.
Yep.
They're the punchline in this case.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I
actually, you know
remember
what?
those
I
times.
saw Jenny Jones. I'm sorry, I'm going on a really quick tangent. This will be
Go
really
on.
quick. I just saw there was a Jenny Jones episode where this kid, I don't remember what the overall topic was, but this kid was like, "Oh, I just want a regular dad. My dad dresses up, this and that." And, they brought the dad out. Dad, beautiful, badass bitch. Like,
Mm-hmm.
motherfucker was fine as hell.
Mm-hmm.
No lie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, super beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the whole crux of the show is to give this cross-dresser, trans woman, whatever, I don't know if she was living full-time or not, whatever, but let's just say trans woman for now, a makeover back into a man.
Oh.
So they made her over
Oh.
back into a man and the dad that her child would love to see show up at school.
Mm-hmm.
And Jenny was like, "Wow, you're a handsome man too. Like, why aren't you like?" It was like, "Why aren't you doing this? You're crazy to be dressing up like a woman when you are such a beautiful man." And it's just like,
Oh, that's
I look back at
shit.
that, and I'm just like, "Whoa, that was TV."
Yeah,
And that was acceptable. The crowd was clapping and wooing and
to even hear about it. I'm like,
wow.
ugh, ugh. I'm like,
And
that's
I mean, dude,
terrible.
she was very beautiful.
She was fine.
Like there, and I don't give very beautiful titles to anybody.
No, you do
Like
not.
I will just say, a motherfucker was just okay looking,
Yes, you will.
and I'm very but yeah. Sorry, quick tangent. That was just
No,
that
that's
reminded me of just such a crazy, crazy time we were living in.
yeah. Shit was nuts back then.
Bruh.
Yeah, I think Dave Chappelle's fine. I think he's funny. I don't think that he actually is anti-LGBT or anti-trans at all. I think he just makes fun of everything.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah, because he's just crazy. But, man, he's classic.
But I mean, a lot of it is through stories with his life, though. Like, with the stand-up, he's like, oh, yeah, my wife's gay friend was just sitting there on the couch giving me this shitty look. And I'm like, motherfucker, I pay the bills around here. Like, I get that.
Yeah. I think he embellishes, but yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely. He's a comedian. Of course he fucking does. That's how comedians work. So I don't even know where that began or where it was. Point is, toxic masculinity. It might get you some ass. I don't recommend it. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. We're gonna.
I'd say do it if you're in Vegas for a weekend.
Yeah, if you're in there for a weekend, I guess.
Bachelor party. Blow it up.
Way to fucking cut out my legs from underneath me, buddy.
Pool party. Do it.
So that'll pretty much do it for this episode. A big shout out to Laurel for sending us in a question. If any of you guys want to talk to us about anything that's trans women related, you want to share a story, you want to ask us questions, you want to talk to us about some chicken, shoot us an email at transtalkformen@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter at transtalkformen. There's underscores in between each one of those words if I'm not mistaken, which is funny because I run the fucking thing and I'm like, underscores? But
you'll hit up the Discord channel, guys. We got a lot of guys in there chatting it up about all things transgender, man.
Yes, we officially have a Trans Talk for Men Discord server now, which is running all the time. People talking. We've got well over 200 people. For that invite, send us an email, and we will send you out an invite to get into that server. Until next time, I've been Eric.
I'm Chris.
Talk to you guys later.
Thanks for listening.